The MG Show. What real independent journalism looks like.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Yeti was just telling me that I like what you did to your camera. I go, I didn't do anything. I'm just skinnier. He's like, it gets wider. I'm like, no, I'm thinner. Welcome to the show, Shady Groove. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, my friends. Yes, absolutely, guys. Jeff's looking good, isn't he?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's been a battle to get healthy. I think I was sick and we got it straightened out, and here I am. Did the meat diet for a few months. And it reset my chemicals, and then I'm eating right. I mean, it's very simple, and I cut out all the bullshit.
Yes, that was a good thing.
Thank you very much. And you can do it, too, because it is time to make you healthy again, guys. Not just America, but you. And I wish you guys all the best on your journey. I want to thank and welcome back Sherry Ward. Hello. Love and prayers, everyone. I've missed you all bunches. We've missed you all bunches. And the Authority, did he pop in here? What?
No.
What?
Albert is not here.
Oh boy, he doesn't even have a red castle. He comes in here naked.
He's starting Monday off with a bang.
Isn't that how he got banned off Twitter?
Let's not dive into that.
Love you guys. I used to listen to Tim Pool. Thank you, Mama Lynn. Thank you so much. Political Cartoon says, I'm on the Rumble app today, and she's naked. Guys, we got naked patriots out there. We need to give them red castles immediately. Stat. Thank you very much. We've got some breaking news. In fact, wow, Cam Higbee, 0 Hour, and others on X have been doing an amazing job. Got Tools is naked too, guys. Bales sent me. Welcome. But it's funny. We are the news now, and now, I asked my mom, "Have you seen it yet?" And I asked her this on Saturday. Nope, not yet, because she watches, Fox and whatnot. And, so today I think they finally said something about it. Authority Q, $50. Thank you so much. Sherry, give 5 subscriptions. Let's get these people closed. Thank you so much. And, I want to just take a minute to say we are the news now. Look at the amazing Patriots that infiltrated their Signal chat, Shady. This is huge. This is coming from the highest levels of the lieutenant governor. And I guarantee you, Shady, and I'm just going to say this. I guarantee you Tim Walz is in there, but under some weird name. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no question, sir.
Yeah. This is an insurrection. This is the real Signal Gate. This is the real insurrection. This is the real color revolution in Minnesota, Shady.
Well, this is, I'm going to start off by saying that this is why I came here. This is the reason that we came to this moment in time, everybody. I want you to understand how significant this is, because this was our request. We were tired of them hiding in the shadows. Before Trump, they all hid in the shadows and they all gaslit you and they all told you that they weren't really there and there wasn't really a communist agenda to take over America. There wasn't really this whole group of people that were controlling all these levers of government that were making these horrible decisions that made America worse. It wasn't intentional. It was accidental. Over and over again, they lied to us. They gaslit us. They virtue signaled. All BS. Q came on board and did what? We're getting ready to show you some interesting stuff here, by the way, connected directly to Signal. But think about this. Look at this. This is the fight, okay? You cannot fight an enemy that hides in the dark in the public eye because optics play against you. But whenever you've got the enemy in the light and you're both of equal footing and you're standing there and you say, who are you going to believe? You're going to believe law enforcement is doing law enforcement, or are you going to believe the crazy ass blue-haired people over here are the ones that really have your best interest in mind whenever they're nothing but a bunch of drug-addicted homeless people, okay? That's the differentiation. This is the blessing. The blessing is we are fighting them one-to-one. The blessing is that we have gotten them out of the shadows and into the light, and they cannot beat us, even come close to beating us whenever they're in the light. And we got a massive, great show here today to show you how patriots in America are sticking up for you and how the media are the ones that are engineering the insurrections. I said insurrections, plural, including what you see this weekend and what you saw on J6.
And, we got a slowed down video of the guy that had a gun while impeding law enforcement operations. I'm sorry. Try that in my county. You risk getting unalived, guys. It's just a fact of the matter. Okay.
Absolutely.
Don't let these people concealed carry this, that, and the other. No, you were impeding legal law enforcement operations and you had a pew-pew. Yeah. F around and find out. Real quick, I want to thank Tara Terp. Oh, I haven't in a while. One gift. Thank you so much. And then we've got G Brothers, 5 subscriptions as well. We've got Sandy Star White. Thank you so much. Got Tools, a subscription as well. Guys, Freya says, snow day, get to watch live. It was 85 degrees here yesterday, Shady. 85.
It's like mild, nice and mild here. The rest of the country is getting pummeled. God bless each and every one of you out there. If you're in the massive blizzard that's going on, we can see how committed these people are, Jeff, by like what they're willing to do in 0 degrees.
Yeah. Where did Yeti go?
Oh,
I don't know if he left the thing chat or not. We got
lost
Yeti.
Power.
Yeti is in the ice area. Kimma, thank you for that as well. I appreciate that. Let's see who else we got. Kimma. Yeah. And got Tools. Got you guys. Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you guys. Please help the MG show. I appreciate it. And I just want to ask you a question, Shady.
Yes, sir.
Minnesota. It's got a lot of similarities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Minnesota. So what happened in 2020 in Minnesota?
To George Floyd.
Do you think that we were told about the Signal app from Q, do you think?
I'm not so sure. We should probably go back to the archives and analyze that question.
Wow. Because the Signal app was, Jack did have something to do with it. Jack from Twitter at the time had something to do with it. He wanted to use the encryption. Shady, you did a good dive on it real quick for the Twitter DMs that fell through, but then they just opened Signal from Whisper to Signal, okay? And basically, what if Q told us about the Signal chats long ago, okay? This is a pesky Q proof because on 12526, the quote repost below from 0 Hour today shares multiple public invite links to the Minneapolis-based Signal chats labeled as rapid response, RR networks for specific wards and neighborhoods. RR, Shady.
Interesting.
9/11/2020 post 4672 Anon post Signal since day one. Did they know? Let me just grab the drop up here. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. There you go. Signal since day one. Did they know? And this is Signal became one of the most top 10 downloaded social apps on iOS yesterday for the first time. According to data from App Annie, the app often sees spikes in downloads during tumultuous political times. But the last time Signal downloads ranked nearly as high was on the day of Trump's inauguration. George Floyd, and now we have them exposed. Shady Groove. It took this long. This is Jack right here. This is from Signal became the top 10 most download Signal app. Also, this is the article that was attached, the Vox article that was attached to that post. And Q responds, coordinated, analyze downloads. Pre-protest, riots, start 60 protests, riots, coincidence? Now think fires. They probably used them for the fires as well, Shady. And Q post 4670 simply says signal.org. https://signal.org, Shady. So basically, this is a direct link to the Signal app site. No fluff, no explanation. Posted right in the middle of the 2020 BLM Antifa riots when encrypted apps like Signal exploded for coordinating protests against law enforcement. Fast forward to today, January 25th, 2026. Minneapolis radicals are running Signal rapid response groups to obstruct ICE raids, track agents, and shield illegals from Trump's mass deportation push. Cam Higbee and Zero Hour just exposed and invaded several of these Minneapolis ward neighborhood chats, unlocked doors, posted invites, disrupted ops. They're just using the exact same tool Q flagged years ago. 2020 Signal spikes for anti-Trump riot coordination. 2026 Signal networks for anti-ICE resistance, undermining border security and sovereignty. Pattern: encrypted comms always surge when globalist left forces fight America's restoration under Trump. This is a crystal clear Q proof, and it's pesky. It's a pesky Q proof, Shady. Q knew the playbook. We knew the playbook. You knew the playbook. Patriots expose it. ICE rolls. Deportations proceed. America first wins. Now, in 2026, Minneapolis anti-ICE rapid response Signal groups are getting exposed and invaded by Patriots. Same tool. I think I was boring Yeti, Shady. Same tool, same fight against sovereignty. Q saw it coming. Trump will be fixing it, Shady, guaranteed.
I guarantee you're exactly right. And I'm hoping that this audience, and I'm just kind of curious. Are you guys are you noticing a pattern? Okay, now Jeff was mentioning 2020. Jeff was mentioning the summer of 2020. Did we have an event in 2021? Did we have an event in 2021, ladies and gentlemen? Let me just ask the audience out there. It's just open source. Let's see. Did we have an event related to Signal in early January of 2021 around the Capitol building? Who remembers? Who in the chat is going to be able to pull back and say, oh, wait a minute, we had other people. Who else was, quote unquote, coordinating protests against law enforcement circa early 2021, January 6th, maybe? Who's got it in the chat? Huh? What was the Signal chat? What was the group called? Can anybody remember the group name?
I do.
Not you, sir. I know you do. Oh, somebody says I remember. Who was it?
Let him say it.
I'm going to see if they get it. Oh, you're getting close.
Can I give him a hint? Close. Can I just give him a hint?
Get one hint.
FOS.
Okay, that's a good hint.
Is that a good hint?
That's a good hint. I think that might have handed it to him. Yeah. We'll see. I'm not. Oh, you're getting close. I'm
getting close. FOS.
I may have to leave if they don't get it. I may have failed my job. My mission may have completely failed.
Where's my Pepe leaving gif? Here you go.
It's like turning and running away.
There you go. Kimmy Mac right there. Boom.
Oh, thank you.
Friends of Stone, she says.
There you go. So now again, you're seeing George Floyd, you're seeing J6, and now you're seeing what happened this weekend, all coordinated on Signal with Signal chat groups. All these people, all these idiots operating against you, everybody. I'm animated about this stuff because I see these people turning what you mean, what you intend. Your intention is for a free country and for everybody to have the equal opportunity and for us to have safe streets. That's all you're asking for. And these people are turning your desire into some sort of twisted plot to overthrow a government that they think that they're somehow stepping in to protect.
Mm-hmm. That's why. And I also think, the ironic is that it's Minnesota, Floyd, and Minnesota today as well. Same group.
Agree 100%.
Wow. Friends, IENDS of Stone.
Sir. And we got the whole list of that too.
Mm-hmm. Here it is right here. Let me just repost it so you guys can see it. We need to bring the sauce here because, come on, Shady. There was no Friends of Stone.
It's like we're having issues. I'm stuck on right now. Yep. So if maybe you will have to work through me to give me a link to show people, Jeff.
Am I frozen?
No, you're not. No, you're not frozen. But we are stuck with Yeti is frozen out of the frozen server. So the server is stuck with me sitting here, so I can pass information to them. Oh, now we're gone. Do we wait?
Stand by. Boy, we're having a good show there for a minute. And I didn't mean to bore you.
Got it really bored.
Love you, bro.
Put her in my blood. Wait, nobody said frozen. They say they hear us.
You guys hear us?
Oh, no. It's showing me here, so maybe I'm just sitting here looking at everybody. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no, 10 days, darkness.
Good sauce. Now I'm confused. I better hide.
Yeah. Let me just see where we're at live here. Let me just put it live. You guys hear us?
No.
They do hear us.
It's showing me here.
Oh,
so maybe I'm sitting here looking at everybody.
Okay, you hear us, guys.
And he told us they couldn't hear us. Oh my God.
Hi, guys. We're just trying to get the server back up. We got an issue. Has anyone ever heard Yeti? Yes, we've heard Yeti. People have heard. You can hear us in the background with the this will be what? Yeah,
that's what they're telling us.
And I can prove it. Ready? On 10 days.
They've heard everything that we said except for what Yeti said.
We're just trying to get the server back up.
Oh, no.
Ever heard Yeti? Yes, we've heard Yeti. The dating game. You can hear us in the background with the
Maybe we should just do the show in the spirit of radio like we used to. Just talk, Jeff, like you used to.
I know. Why are you not on your camera, Shady?
Because I had to abandon that. If they could hear me, they could probably see me.
No, they can't see you.
Well, listen here. I can
prove it. See, look. This is what it says.
There you go. Maybe we should just do the show in the spirit of radio like we used to. Just talk. That's a great idea.
I know. Why are you not on your camera,
look at
Shady? There you are, Shady.
I had to abandon that.
All right, get back on the camera now.
Oh, sir.
Get on. Oh, my God. JD.
What?
We have a show to do. Let's go.
I'm right here. I'm trying to do it. You got to send me a link. Now
there
what?
You are.
That's all you want. For what reason?
You guys are doubling. We don't see you. Yes, talk, please. I see him here. We will see him in a minute. See?
Doubt it.
Live. Oh, my God. Look at it.
It's Monday. Can we get out of here?
We have a show to do. Let's go.
I'm right here. I'm trying to do it. You got to send me a link.
I got your link. C Page says, I'm late, but definitely not disappointed.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, Nicoletta says, where are the blue eyes? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. What do we got to do, Yeti?
We got to get out of here.
Shady. Okay. So Yeti is trying to reconnect us back to the, hang on one second, Shady and I got. Okay. They got in. So what's going on, guys? Let's see. It's an inside job. Thank you for the show. You guys are the best. I know we're not the best right now because we do it live, baby. That's what we do.
I don't think this is the best at all. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, I don't know either. Shady, but I do. Hang on one second, Shady and I got. This is what I see now. So you're not on the camera.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. So then we don't need to be up there then.
All right. So we'll do it live, guys. Friends of Stone, we got, all this stuff. Let's just let's just read a President Donald Trump truth right here. I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me separately. A major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare audit that has taken place in Minnesota and is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. I agree with that. It's a cover-up. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman, in quotes, Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, saying the things that no one will say.
Yeah.
Saying the things the media won't say.
That's right.
I mean, that's
right.
The reality of the situation. They're saying the things that the media won't say, and they're saying the things that we all that listen, guys, everybody has to understand what is happening here. They are the criminals are the ones controlling the microphones. And the criminals are the ones that are upset because law enforcement is enforcing the law. Whenever they scream racist, what they mean is you're implementing law enforcement. When they scream Nazi, what they mean is you're implementing law enforcement. When they scream fascist, what they mean is you're implementing law enforcement. You have to be able to make this correlation or you'll never solve this puzzle. But you can solve it so easy if you just recognize that the criminals don't want to be arrested and they don't want to be put in prison.
Yeah. And what happens when you corner an animal? This, okay?
Yes.
So the animal is now cornered, okay? You got Minnesota fraud, billions, probably hundreds of billions of dollars in the lifetime of this fraud. Okay, this fraud was used to bring in illegals. This fraud was used to prop up Somalis. This fraud was used to probably gain Senate and House seats, guys, because they brought in people that would vote for them. Give them the fraud, we get the votes. Okay, the Somali community probably voted for all these asshats. Got it. So this is going to be the summer of love redo. But it will be fast and swift, I guarantee you. But what happens when you corner an animal? They're worried about the midterms. They're worried about their Dem power implosion. This is what you're seeing right now. 50 years of propaganda, 50 years of conditioning, 50 years of lies. Peaceful protests? No. Those aren't peaceful protests, Shady. They're riots, okay? And, if they're mostly peaceful, does that also mean partially violent? I would say yes, Shady. And by the way, didn't you have a post about what a peaceful protest really is?
Yes, I actually do have a post about a peaceful protest is, and I'm going to bring that to you right now. But I'd like to ask the audience a question. I'd like to ask you a question. Do you know that we go out every year or every 2 years or 4 years and we look to the vote and we see people voting and we look at the numbers and we say, oh, why does only 60% of the people go out and vote? Why do only 30% of the people in the cities care about how their city is run? Let me tell you exactly why. Because can you go out and vote if you're an elderly person that lives in an inner city, if your city street is not safe? Can you get out of your house if you've got to walk to the polling booth and walk to the polling booth without being afraid of being robbed, mugged, or taken out? Okay? You got to understand the dynamic. A safe city means a city that people will participate in again. You can actually start to see a reality of, okay, people want to participate in their society. They want to vote, but they can't because the city streets are so dangerous they can't go outside. So if you make the city streets less dangerous, it's a good possibility, Jeff. It's a good possibility that people might want to go back outside and participate in their country again. This post right here, I made this weekend, and I'd like to just, bring it to your attention as well. I'll drop the link in here. But breaking, this is where a lot of you got it twisted. There's no constitutional right in the United States to protest. That's right. You heard me. There's no constitutional right that protects you to protest. What does exist is the right to peacefully assemble. That's it. No riots, no chaos, no burning shit down, no intimidation, no blocking roads, no screaming obscenities at others. Peacefully assemble. You have the right to stand there. You have the right to hold a sign. You have the right to assemble peacefully, quietly, lawfully, without trampling everyone else's rights. The moment it becomes loud, destructive, coercive, or threatening, it stops being protected and it becomes lawlessness, guys. I'm glad we could all clear that up. Now, think about this just for a second. Each of you consider this. I understand what it means, the word protest, but we've got to get into the semantics here a little bit. Assemble, peacefully assemble. These people like Don Lemon and these guys think that they have some sort of right to interfere with your way of life so that they can make you uncomfortable. Does that say that in the Constitution? Does it say that you have the right to make people that you don't like what they think uncomfortable? No, it doesn't say that. It says you have the right to peacefully assemble and to make your voices heard, not that you have the right to interfere with everyone else's life around you.
Yeah. Or impede law enforcement investigations. I mean, it's all upside down world right now, Shady.
And that post actually, for one of the first times in months, we got that post out past the breaker a little bit.
Yeah, good for you. By the way, I wanted to show you the Signal chat right here. This is the Friends of Stone. This is Stuart Rhodes, the one eye patch guy. Exactly. What's the operation? Friends of Stone. Call to action. March on DC. Okay. Wow.
Maybe it's just our, it must be our bent perception that makes this stuff look exactly the same. It's got to be us, right? We're like the filter of, for some reason that we see this and it's a problem, but everybody else sees this. Interestingly enough, all these people in the Flynn networks and the Enrique Terrios of the world and the Oath Keepers and the Joe Biggs, all these people think that what they did was amazing. They think they did it just right. Is that what the Signal group is acting like today? The lieutenant governor of a state is organizing this stuff, guys.
Yeah.
This is not like, this is not a group of blue-haired people bouncing off the telephone poles in the streets saying dumb stuff. This is the elected government of a state.
Yep. Let's go. This is the Signal chats are full of elected officials. The lieutenant governor of Minnesota, okay? Antifa street soldiers, MS-13 affiliates, Reuters journalists, literally state government administrators, all coordinating, doxing, ambushing, and attacking ICE agents nationwide. This is not a protest. This is a criminal enterprise. RICO, the whole damn network, guys. And this is why are Reuters reporters in the Signal app? It's a team sport, guys, right there. There's your Reuters reporter in the Signal app, guys. And, you're watching a movie. How do you coordinate all the cameras that they need to show you? How do you coordinate the brainwashing, the mind control on the enemy of the people, the CNNs of the world? You get you embed. They embed in these Signal chats, and then they say, okay, let's go blow whistles and, peacefully protest or impede law enforcement activities. This is what they do. This is how you literally are watching a movie, Shady.
How would you work around law? How would you work around the Capitol Police? How would you be able to end up behind the line of the Capitol Police and them know that you're okay to be behind the line? How would you end up moving people around on the Capitol complex from this guy's here, and then all of a sudden he's on the other side of the Capitol and he's got the camera and the media people are right there with the QAnon shaman, quote unquote QAnon shaman, walking through there, and they're escorting him around like he's like he's their favorite guest of the day. This looks strikingly similar, Jeff.
I just wanted me off camera there for a minute.
It looks strikingly the same to me.
It does. It's the
same.
There's nothing different, okay? The deep state uses Signal chat, period.
Right. And they're bragging. And now, not only that, but now they're saying effectively, this proves that the media are creating the news. They're not reporting on the news. The media are engineering the news from the ground up.
Yes. Yeah.
With foreign money.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That ain't good.
Yeah. And we're going to get to that too. We're going to follow the money. We're going to look at stuff, we're going to look at everything right now. So this is a leaked Signal chat right here. This is a Signal chat. This screenshot shows an activist panicking over the exposure of Flan, okay, like Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, a purported dispatch coordinator for anti-ICE protest groups amid fears of location tracking and legal repercussions. They know they're doing wrong, Shady.
They absolutely know they're doing wrong.
This revelation builds on prior leaks identifying Flanagan in operational roles for activist networks, including ties to incidents like the death of Alex Pretty during ICE-related clashes, prompting calls for RICO investigations and lawsuits. Conservative responders view the leak as a significant victory, exposing alleged abuse by power by Democrat officials contrasting with Flanagan's public stance on ICE and funding. So here is signal is not secure. I worked in communications. Once they figure out where we were, it's only a matter of time. Flan has been exposed. We are all effed. I need to leave the state.
Better leave the country.
Wow.
Better hope we don't have a good extradition treaty with Canada too, because they think they're actually they're out there talking like they're bugging out to Canada.
Yeah, I saw some leaving for Canada already as well. But let's keep going for this because that's huge, guys. You know, we got Flanagan, who's the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, guys.
Do you think, Jeff? Do you think that we were able to find Maduro in the middle of that hot spot down there in Venezuela in Caracas? You think we could find a Flanagan in Canada? We needed to.
Meet the. I am going to introduce you to the decombobulator.
The discombobulator.
Yes, the discombobulator. I'm very angry.
All your country are belong to us.
So the mask off is off in Minnesota. This is meet Aaron Chowdhury.
That was name. Good. I think that was pretty good.
Minneapolis Ward 12. She was exposed for leading an anti-ICE signal group with 200 plus members, doxing and coordinating to obstruct ICE operation, leaked members, list scrolling in video, pronouns, handles, affiliations, all there. This is what sanctuary really looks like, guys. Elected officials running interference for criminal illegals while ICE tries to do their job, Shady.
It's nowhere near. You could not make the correlation that a sanctuary city wants to keep their cheap labor.
Yeah.
And all the people, like, you know, like the one gentleman was saying the other day, he was like, you've got to be an absolute lunatic to think the Somalis are the ones coming up with this stuff.
I want to back up because it's not about, right now, at least, it's not about cheap labor. It's about convicted pedophiles. It's about convicted people that harm children. It's about convicted burglars. It's about convicted unaliving. It's about convicted. And I think that's where even Fox News draws the line, because everybody's thinking that it's your neighbor. In fact, President Trump, Shady, didn't he say, hey, if you're a company and you do employ illegals, get with us and we will make sure that it's okay. You know, if they don't have any criminal stuff, they'll stay and we can make it right. I mean, this is what's happening, guys.
Understood.
This is criminal.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that the criminal element of it, their intention, you know, they're not necessarily saying they're impeding law enforcement while law enforcement's trying to get the people that you're discussing out. But their true intention is they need to keep this element into their sanctuary cities, or their whole structure that China set up with them falls apart with the labor shortage.
In addition to the labor shortage, it's about moving money out of our country into their countries and funding ISIS and all this other crap, guys.
Exactly, because each one of them is a tentacle to money going offshore. I almost got you there.
I'm sitting on my tentacles.
I'm sitting on two.
So we've got breaking news. The Minnesota Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, has been caught on video, guys, about the very single mob chat that has been exposed in coordinating anti-ICE cops, doxing agents, dispatching protesters, and she allegedly Flan Southside admin. State government literally running interference against federal law enforcement. This is insurrection. The true definition of the word at the top, Shady Group. Check this out.
Hey, it's Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to give you another update about what's happening in Minnesota. Since ICE killed Renee Good in broad daylight, they've continued to terrorize communities. Minnesotans have been posting countless videos of appalling behavior in parking lots, at gas stations, and on our streets. Up north, I personally saw ICE agents pulling people over as we headed up I-94. And after that, I was hosting an event in Alexandria when people's phones started to go off. Several folks had to leave because they were trained legal observers and ICE had come to town. It happened again in Detroit Lakes, and before my event in St. Cloud, ICE agents staged just a block away, harassing folks outside of a mall. This isn't just happening in the metro, it's happening everywhere, and it's not okay. This weekend, I staged outside several churches and tried to intimidate congregants who were there to worship, and they scooped some folks up. ICE reportedly smashed and totaled a car on a busy road in St. Paul, and they dragged a woman out of it and left the vehicle stranded there. A U.S. citizen who was illegally detained by ICE was told, quote, "We know you're a citizen, but we're taking you in anyway," unquote. There are small businesses across the state closed out of fear of this federal force. Schools are organizing legal observers and parent drop-offs and pickups because kids and their parents are afraid that ICE is going to show up there too. Everyone is less safe because ICE is on our streets. I'm exhausted, and I know that many of you are too. But if there's one thing that I know about Minnesotans, it's that we are resilient, we take care of one another, and when things get tough and you come for us, we face it together. Our incredible Attorney General has filed a lawsuit alongside Minneapolis and St. Paul to get ICE out of our state, and that work is continuing. On the local level, I'm asking you to sign up for a legal observer training so that you can protect your neighbors when they need it. Our phones and our ability to document unconstitutional behavior is one of the most powerful tools that we have in this fight. The Immigrant Defense Network and Monarca both offer trainings for folks to learn more about their rights and how to become legal observers. I've taken the training, and I hope that you'll join me. And for folks who are watching outside of state, please contribute to these organizations who are doing the important work here in Minnesota. And please make sure that you are sharing, that you keep calling your representatives, and that you keep peacefully protesting because we need everyone. Miigwech.
Wow. Openly admit that Minnesota whatever watch is where you can find the information about the signal chat, Shady. I mean, this is insane.
Well, you know, it's whenever you kind of like look at the whole picture of the United States of America, you like want to throw a dart and you're going to like try to say, okay, well, which states are the states that are like best more known for their insurrecting? You would definitely not be picking Minnesota out of that, would you? And don't you find it really interesting that the Minnesotans were never really involved in any way, shape, or form with insurrections? But you got a bunch of people there that are from a war-torn region that are, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of them.
I hear Cam Higbee doesn't realize that the lieutenant governor of Minnesota is Peggy Flanagan.
Oh, wow.
He needs to know that. If he doesn't know that.
Does he not know that?
Well, somebody said in chat that he didn't know that.
Whoa.
I'm just going off chat. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't.
That's interesting.
She is the current lieutenant governor of Minnesota. And a lot of people don't understand that a lieutenant governor often wields more power than the actual governor.
Yeah, that means if somebody takes out Walz, she's your governor.
And she probably runs a lot more day-to-day than Walz.
Well, and that it's probably not a she.
I'm not saying that.
I know you didn't say that.
See, now you know why they call us disinformation.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that it's disinformation. I'm just saying that it doesn't really look like a lady.
It is.
Okay.
I mean,
we're
all. Well, I did.
All
right. So now you've got this in Colorado. You've got a Democrat Senator, Julie Gonzalez, and Rep. Yara Zokai. They're openly pushing the Colorado Rapid Response Network hotline. And it's, 844-864-8341. 844-864-8341. Basically a tip line to help activists swarm ICE operations and obstruct federal law enforcement. This is not community protection. It is sabotage. Who do they really serve, Shady?
Man, this is no different than if you were to gather with a bunch of your friends and start to like target the police department, Jeff.
Yep.
This is no different. You can't like just get together with your buddies and go after law enforcement, guys. This is literally what they're doing. And they said that grandma holding signs in the Capitol was an insurrection, but this is protected speech.
Yeah. Here you go. Check it out.
Grieve the death of Alex Jeffrey Preddy at the hands of ICE agents in Minnesota today. I don't think I'm the only one grappling with the conflicting emotions of grief, rage, and fear as we're witnessing masked ICE patrols gun people down in broad daylight and then label those victims as domestic terrorists. This isn't isolated to just Minneapolis, and it's not new. Those of us who have been organizing for ICE accountability for years have seen this coming. Immigrants, Muslims, trans folks, anybody at the margins or canaries in the coal mines for how extremists seek to divide and conquer us. Well, here we are. So where do we go from here? A couple of tips that I want y'all to keep in mind. If you haven't already, sign up and attend a Know Your Rights training so that you are prepared on how to navigate interactions with ICE. Second, plug the Colorado Rapid Response Network into your phone and save it. If you see suspicious activity, call the hotline at 844.
Everybody should call and like give them locations to the dump and to the sewage plant and to all these other places.
Or how about to like all the homeless people?
841. Trained volunteers will help document and confirm what's going on. Colorado is home to a powerful movement that's been organizing to defend and advance immigrant rights for years. If you can, volunteer.
They're illegal aliens.
Donate and support.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
Doing the work on the ground.
This is unbelievable.
Make mental health great again, guys.
Not a single one of those people would stand up for you. Not a single one of these people in the Signal chat or over here on the left, or the, it's like you can say whatever you will about us, but if somebody's a Trump supporter and they drive by somebody that's a Democrat on the side of the road with a beat up tire and needs some help, they'll usually stop and help them. But this is not the case. These people will never help you. As a matter of fact, they will do everything in their power to like ostracize you from society. And we saw this play out, didn't we? Didn't we see this play out in 2020 whenever they told us we had to put faces or masks on our faces and we all had to take shots? That was these people showing us their true selves, everyone. They didn't like go and have some sort of revelation and change their perspective on life.
So I want to go through the Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. This is Cam Higby's post. Even Elon Musk, it caught a lot of attention over the weekend. It's got 20.3 million views, okay? So Cam Higby infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. Each area of the city has a signal or several signals. Let's start with a screen recording of all the members of the South Side group to start. Now, this is the video right here. I mean, you can pause it to see, like, look at, like, Cat Bid, Timon, Birdie, Gab. Like, look at activist Derek, El Ashishi, Ars Goyeta. I'm just pausing. Bacon. These are all the people. Look at that.
I felt like I was seeing people in there from our old Discord.
Yeah. Eric, Bizzleby, RG. I mean, look at this, guys. You guys can pause it on the screen or go to the X and do that as well. But there they are. It's a lot of people, Shady.
It was a lot.
Then you've got Minneapolis Signal infiltrated. Cam Higby has been undercover inside the groups for days. You'll notice the emojis next to the people's names. Here's a key for what those emojis mean. The highlighted positions. Let me just go ahead and grab that.
Yeah, this is good.
Yep, this is interesting. Let me just, how come? Hang on 1 second. Let me just do something real quick so I can get the text on the side. Hang on 1 second. 100%. There we go. Okay. So this is the mobile patrol, stationary patrol. So this is the emojis next to people's names. Here's the key: what to look out for. The highlighted positions are most crucial. Most are self-explanatory. Mobile patrols spend their entire shift searching for suspicious vehicles. When they find one, they send it to a group that can use plate checkers, and they can compare their database and see if it's a known federal vehicle or if the patrol can make the confirmation so the database can be updated. Dispatch runs a maxed out call all day telling protesters where ICE has been spotted and how they can be best impeded, guys. So the license plate checker now requires a login as well. They did fix that. It was open, and now it requires a login. I mean, that's illegal in and of itself for regular people.
Yes, it is. It's always been illegal. It's always been like outside of, you would have to either like pay for the information or you have to hire an investigator or a couple other layers of short of law enforcement can get that, but not very many.
That's right. So this is right here. This is for each occupation, guys, or shift position. Protesters have to undergo training. It's unclear what training entails, But the numerous slides of instruction I've seen mentioned repeatedly who is paying for all this, and we followed the money as well. This is, I still haven't been able to take patrol training, was previously in the patrol training group, but I left since I wasn't actively engaging. Statement by Rep. Tabaki regarding proposed ICE detention center in Shapogi, posting here, impact our entire metro. So look at that. I mean, this is a she-her Kit Kat, right? And then this is sharing our Bloomington side patrol zone map, which is loosely based on city council districts, guys. Wow. I mean, this is insane, guys. Minnesota plates documentation right here. This is a crowdsourced database, plates identified in Minnesota. This is a picture of that. This document was updated on 1/19/2026. Access data, ICE plate search, Minnesota plates Airtable database. Plates dashboard, plates lookup for plate checkers. If you're interested in sporting the plate checking, plate form, identifying ICE in Minnesota, FAQs, confirmed ICE equals mass uniform ICE agents seen in vehicle, actively involved, highly suspicious ICE, okay, suspected ICE. This is very well organized, Shady.
They keep telling, isn't it interesting how they knew all about the different things that had happened in that Friends of Stone chat? Isn't it interesting how they knew all the optics in the way whenever the Liz Cheney J6 committee was going on? It was like they had this inside track and they could just predict what people were thinking. But now you've got this going on and everybody's like looking around like, what are you complaining about? This is just American people organizing and trying to protect the other American people.
Yeah.
That's the way they're throwing this at you.
Here's a screenshot going back to Minnesota. This is a screenshot, an active screenshot of a call going on, okay? Joe Frogman to J Frogman. MK changed their profile name. So this is all the people in this call, okay? And it's always active as well as a shift change. You can see folks are changing their emojis, clocking in and clocking out. I'll also attach a video of the dispatch actually tracking the vehicle I was in, claiming that we were confirmed ICE. They constantly misidentify vehicles. Pay attention to the emojis tagged on the plate checks.
Isn't that interesting that they're using that like Telegram, like having an open, constant chat where they're like literally operating in real time?
Heavy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving. We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
This is citizens stalking Americans.
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
Good point. They're saying that ICE is stalking Americans where they're really doing criminal, illegal aliens, but they're actually stalking Americans.
You don't have any right to like organize and chase people and track their cars where they're going. That's illegal. That's harassment. That's threatening. That's like, what are you trying to kidnap people?
Yeah. It's a domestic terrorist organization. SSL20, thank you for joining us today. I'm glad you joined us in the chat. SSL20 says, my son is a police officer and they can't just run someone's plates, guys. All right? Here we go. Back to Ken. And they're tracking the vehicle he's in.
We're getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
That's crazy.
Thank you, Tara.
612, that we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
This is infuriating.
Thank you, John 612.
Hey,
literally using it like a CB channel.
From the WhatsApp group that they're driving around on 28, 29 Pleasant and Pillsbury Avenue. If you want to swing by there first, I'm making my way down that way as well. I am on Lake and Park.
I'll relay to the Spanish chat, relay to the Uptown Whittier.
Tired.
Thanks, Aaron.
That Ford just gray Ford just last
On the car. It's empty. But
Please go on mute. John 612, please go on mute.
It's going to be a right, the next right.
Loquito, go ahead.
The next right, Chicago.
Loquito. We saw that guy being pulled over by ICE.
Passed me on the opposite way towards Cedar. That was on Lake and Park.
That's us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Telegram.
Behind that F-150.
They're doing this on TikTok, too, in Chicago.
Do we have anyone in this call who's
at 28th, 29th Pleasant right now. Lokita, you're not there, correct?
Don't wave at them. Do not wave.
Correct. I am on 3rd and Lake. I would be there in probably like 2 or 3 minutes.
So they're actively tracking Cam Higbee, and he's listening to them tracking him. That's crazy.
Do you want me to keep an eye out?
Cam Higbee is not an illegal alien, okay? He's an American citizen, confirmed. We know this. Wow, man.
Legal definition of stalking is a course of conduct involving repeated, unwanted, and obsessive attention toward a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety or experience substantial emotional distress. That's it. That's the definition of stalking. Why are these people not stalking Americans? Even if they're going, it doesn't matter. You're going after an ICE agent car. You're stalking them.
Yeah. Can't the FBI jam that signal? Why you don't interrupt an animal or an enemy when they're in the middle of destroying themselves?
We do need the information, and we do need them to be doing this. And we could also, like people are getting this information by infiltrating these areas, guys. So, find yourself in an interesting situation where you could get in there, take some recordings.
This post right here is a Minneapolis signal infiltrated the recording of the protesters actively tailing the vehicle I was in, labeling me as ICE, and instructing commuters. I'm not sure what this one. Listen.
We're not ICE. Why?
Okay, there they are. Oh, what is wrong with X today? There we go.
We're not ICE. Why are you guys following us? And they leave like right when we get out of the car. We're not ICE. We're not ICE. We're following them because they were following us.
Well, you look suspicious as fuck.
We're not ICE, so we're letting them know.
Wait. So should people follow and harass any suspicious-looking person?
I'm harassing you. Get out of here.
See? Look at how they weaponize their minds, guys.
Look at that person.
We're not ICE.
Oh, and
Not ICE. Not in an ICE vehicle, right?
No.
Right. Get in your truck and get the fuck out.
Why?
Because you need to go. Confirmed ICE.
We're not ICE.
We're American citizens.
Yeah, same with the people that you're abducting. Get out.
We're not
Go.
because we're being followed. They're following us, and they came up. We didn't even know they were following us until they came up and said, "We've been following you, reporter."
Go report something.
Okay.
Go to the airport.
We don't want people following us.
Go to the airport.
And hurting us when we get home.
They're not going to hurt you. They're going to stay right behind you. They're going to stay right
all
behind
the way
you.
back to where we're staying, right?
Great.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. Why we're Americans. Why are we being forced out of a neighborhood? We're reporters.
Well, we have Americans being detained.
No, you don't.
We're not detaining anybody.
People who are claiming to be federal agents.
We're not claiming that.
So you can tell we're a little bit on edge.
That's fine, but it doesn't give you the right to run people out of town.
Yeah, so why are you here, though? I mean,
we're reporters.
Are you going to join the protest against
We are reporters.
You're reporters with who?
I'm an independent journalist. I sell my footage.
What's your handle?
What's my handle?
Yeah.
I sell my footage.
Really? Yeah, you're pretty established.
I sell my
Where are your
footage.
press credentials?
I have them in my pocket. I showed them
You have
repeatedly.
press credentials?
Yes, they're in my pocket. 1 second.
Wow.
That's what we've devolved into. That's what the TV can do, guys. And they can do that in the wake of what we saw during COVID and George Floyd and the 2020 election and the 2024 election, knowing that we have a mandate to get these people out of here. Well, they knew in that moment that they had a mandate to keep them. And that's what they're working on doing.
So to button this up too, a new group chat for each zone is made for each day. All chats are dated and deleted at the end of each day. This is likely to avoid detection, record keeping, and consequences. By midday, the group chats hit a maximum capacity of 1,000 people allowed by signal, and people who are not chasing federal agents are asked to leave to create room for those who are. The dispatch calls are also reach maximum capacity consistently. I believe it's 50 people max, which means at any given time in a small zone, there are 50 people chasing agents. Shady.
And look at the way that they're able to organize. They're able to use like fundraising emails. I guarantee you that they're using political communications to get these people to sign up. There's a lot of going on in the background, and all of these people acting as if they are somehow law enforcement, trying to stop law enforcement. They're acting like they're badge carrying law enforcement.
Yep. So they use a system called Salute. Salute means size strength, action, activity, location, uniform, clothes, time and date, equipment. The quasi-police force uses a system called Salute, which calls out the size of federal units, activity, locations, uniforms, times, dates, locations. Then they instruct their ICE chasers to follow and confront agents at their known locations. Shady.
You're literally talking about the state government organizing a stalking campaign against federal agents in the streets, everyone.
Yeah.
This would be no different than sending people after the National Guard or sending people after the FBI.
Yeah. ZFM says if the FBI doesn't have 10X Cam Higby's information, they are failing at their jobs, or this must be done organically. We were told that citizen journalism, we are the news now. This is actually how it's supposed to go. Regular American citizen journalists are supposed to help expose this stuff, and then we get the results, guys. This is what we've seen, right?
This is we're not going to get outrage until we get information.
That's right. That's right. Wow. So they're talking about thugs. They have a home base, and we haven't been able to identify their home base yet. Thinking might be the Whigby building, but we're not sure. They're chasers discussing what they should be done after realizing that it's an ICE vehicle. They believe this person might be the aggressive individual in the second photo. This is Cam. This is his license plate. While they've been at Whipple, according to records, vehicle is either owned or rented by Cam Higby. So he made it in the truck by Beardo, okay? Probably one of the guys that stalked him. Here are more dispatch chatter where they tweaked out when they discovered the vehicle. Whistles and horns can be heard in the background. The dispatcher asked for photos and videos and of the plate for documentation purposes. The signal protesters used a mutual aid system. They tried to join that for Bloomington. An admin told me that it was vetted for chat for teachers and that I'd need to describe my relationship to a school and give my real name. And we'll be right back after these beautiful boom messages. More in hour 2.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spilty, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20%, and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
My Pillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. My Pillow bed sheets, only $29.88, any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. My towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first and only time, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens, $17.98. Kings, only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-873-0478 and use promo code MGSHOW. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
In the frozen north, where the liberals play, Tim Walz and his crew let the billions slip away. Somali fraud cash flowing out the door. While ICE comes knocking, they scream no more. Encrypted chats light up the night. Flying Southside, calling shots in the fight. Peggy Flanagan's admin running the show, tracking agents' moves so the criminals go. Signal gate, shadows in the code, coordinating chaos on the taxpayer road. Insurrection, encrypted state house deep inside, blocking Trump's deportations, trying to hide from Minneapolis streets to Cuba contacts, calling real signal gate, dropping the deep state, falling America first. No more games, no more lies, drain the swamp up north before the public dies. Journalist infiltrates, Cam Higby goes in, thousands on the network coordinating sin. University cash, 6 to 8 million fed, turned into war rooms where the radicals tread. Foreign donors wired, chuffed in the mix. Canada to Cuba pulling dirty tricks. Stand with Minnesota, more like stand with the fraud, while patriots bleed and the rule of law's flawed. Signal gate, whispers turn to roars. Any gov exposed, can't hide anymore. Walls machine cranking, protest mobs on payroll. Obstruct federal justice, selling out the soul. From the gas to the streets, tear gas in the air. Real insurrection, do they even care? America first, lock them up, make them pay. Minnesota's wake up, no more decay. In the threads, plans and docs gotta flee. Contacts in Havana dreaming of amnesty, but the handbooks leak the donor's name to shame. Thousands on the list playing treason's game. No more sanctuary for the criminals they shield. Trump's agents coming, justice won't yield. Signal gate, the veil is torn apart. State house traitors caught with blood on their heart. Peggy Flanagan, Walz's loyal crew. Sedition in the signal, what you gonna do? America first forever, borders locked tight. No more blue state betrayal in the dead of night. Signal gate exposed, the reckoning's here. MAGA rising strong, patriots cheer.
Oh my gosh, I tell ya. We can make copyright-free music of our show, Shady Groove. How about that? Welcome back to hour number 2.
Live, 5 by 5.
Thank you guys very much. It looks like people were dancing. They liked it. But, Signalgate, guys, this is Pete Hegseth wasn't the Signalgate. This is the Signalgate. We have learned that term projection, have we not?
Yeah, we're also learning we're learning all their operational antics, aren't we?
Finally, dark to light, guys.
Everybody's got to know about it before everybody can see it.
Yeah. And silver just hit 117, Shady.
And it's rolling.
Wow. Let me do the Rumble wallet.
Yeah, gold went over 5K.
Yeah. Here we go. Rumble wallet, guys. Gots to get it. Okay, the Rumble wallet, they can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control and they use it. That's why financial independence matters now more than ever. Introducing, dun dun dun, Rumble Wallet. A wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether, Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission. No middleman, and no cancel button. And when you want to support your favorite creators that you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble wallet, have to directly tip the MG content creators securely, instantly, and without interference, guys. This isn't a credit line that they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently, yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. When the system fails and institutions turn on their own people, and we're seeing that in Minnesota, guys, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, and true financial freedom.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for you guys that have used the Rumble Wallet already to help support the show. We greatly appreciate that. And yes, as I was just saying, Jeff, gold is at 5,100 an ounce now, and it's just interesting. I just would like to I'd like to just let's see if Rush out there in the audience agrees with me. But what you're seeing a lot of hysteria among the globalist elite, if you will. They're watching gold run the way that it's running, and they're acting like they're telling you all kinds of things. Oh, well, this is happening because there's a weak dollar. Because the dollar is having trouble sustaining itself, and everybody's bailing on America and all these different things, and they're running to gold. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the reason that silver and gold are running. The reason that silver and gold are running is because they have been unleashed, if you will. In other words, the system isn't constraining the value any longer, and the free market enterprise is actually starting to dictate the current bid price on gold and silver. For one of the first times in decades, it's not being manipulated. Therefore, people around the world are starting to actually realize that, hey, number one, countries are starting to move to backing their economies with gold, and crypto is moving into these different areas of backing its substantial wealth with gold also. So I'd like to just tell you, everybody, that all these people that are screaming doom and gloom regarding the idea that gold and silver are running, people like me who have understood the economy for decades and decades have realized that once gold and silver started to run like they're doing right now, that would mean that someone somewhere has taken their hand off of the suppress America lever.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. Wow.
And I think that's happening. And also, just real quick on the back of that, to finish up, the New York Times is reporting, Jeff, that people are going to be getting more money on their tax returns this year, and they can't figure out what's happening. They don't understand why people are going to be getting more money on their tax returns. I just want to put that out there. I'm sure this audience has an idea that the New York Times can't figure out.
You mean stopping the fraud, taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, the big, beautiful bill. Donald Trump, no tax on tips.
The big, beautiful bill, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tariffs.
Work harder, get paid more.
Wow. All right, guys. This is a simple thing, right? We got to follow the money because you heard chuffed, right? Okay, let's understand what that means. This is Data Republican right here on X. Breaking Signalgate donors list available for download. Politicians, foreign leaders confirmed. In one of the files revealed by Cam Higbee, a resource file directs people with money to a website, standwithminnesota.com, okay? Which directs donors to campaign ran by Trending the Soil on Chuffed, okay? This is who's doing the campaign. More about Trending the Soil later, but what to know, the campaign is hosted by Chuffed. And it's the first donation came from Johnny Sopotuik, a Canadian-based community organizer who is part of Chuffed leadership and specializes in fundraising. He is most likely a central figure in their scam for raising money. So yeah, it's starting to look like foreigners are playing a key role in all of this, guys.
Who told you?
Yep. That's not all. I've put together a spreadsheet of 4,000 plus donors and their possible identities. Download is in the next link. But look at this. This is when you go to istandwithminnesota.com. Right here, Minnesota is under occupation. No, they're not. They're under occupation by illegal aliens, guys. And ICE and CBP are doing their job legally and lawfully, Shady.
They absolutely are, and they always have been. They were even doing their job legally and lawfully during the Obama administration.
Yeah. Wow. Immigrant Rapid Response Fund. This is UNIDOSM, an immigrant-run organization getting things done on the ground. The Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota, who's providing assistance to hundreds of illegal aliens detained by ICE, guys. I mean, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. This is support frontline organizers demanding justice and shutting down ICE in Minnesota. $429,000, Shady, at that time. I mean, by tending the soil. See that? Tending the soil. That's a lot of money they've raised to infiltrate your country. This is Johnny Sopotuik. He's a he, him, his. He's got 3,000 followers. He's a community organizer, co-director
better known as it.
Union C Co-op BC. Movement leadership, We Are Chuffed, and movements and solidarity. There he is right there. Look at that guy. He looks chuffed, doesn't he? Whatever that means.
I could say something else.
He's a chuffed. So then this, if you download yourself, you can consider subscribing to Data Republican. This is it right here. This is the link, but it may be possible to match labor attorney identified as Laura Christian Garcia, who is reported to be based in Oakland, California, associated with Beeson, Taylor, and Bodine, the National Lawyers Guild, San Francisco Bay Area chapter, union side legal work with Unite Here Locals, and a fellowship at Loyola University Chicago's Rodin Center for Social Justice. No public Facebook, Blue Sky, X, LinkedIn, or Instagram profiles were identified in the provided material. The record indicates that immigrant justice adjacent work through labor and legal channels, but does not show any explicit anti-ICE statements or clearly attributable immigrant justice activism. The searches also located individuals with the same name in Minnesota, a city administrator, and several therapists who appear unrelated. So the linkage to the Oakland labor attorney is tentatively and maybe incorrect. So it's tentative and maybe incorrect. That was a statement there. The donors don't bother deleting social media profiles. I've already cached screenshots of them all. Data Republican is passing all the screenshots to the powers that be in a big zip folder right there. They're getting different versions of the spreadsheet. That one's much less sanitized. Spreadsheet has been updated with 5,000 additional donations, guys. I mean, my God. They're using your money, guys. And then I saw something here, too. Let's... I don't know if I want to open the link. Let me just see if I can open it. Let's see. Boom. Here it is. Let's see if it opens. Proton Drive. Decrypting files. But this is the donations right here. Download. Yikes. Downloaded. Okay.
Pins and needles.
I know. Yikes.
Don't click that.
Don't click that, Shady. All right, let me grab this. Oh, there it is. Donations. Check it out. Let's see. I don't see it. Not opening. Oh, well. Anyways, there is a lot of people. Yeah, good evidence for a military tribunal. That is for sure. Excel cannot open the file. Okay, whatever.
Excel did not excel.
Excel
fell.
Product activated. Okay, thank you. All right, get off.
Now you clicked it.
I clicked it and I should have clacked it.
You can't unclick it anymore.
I shouldn't have clacked it or clicked it or anything. No. Oh my gosh.
We have gone too far. We have crossed a Rubicon.
Yeah. So millions and dollars of donations, or up to $1 million. Their Jody Soptuk is also helping out urgent abolish ICE protests as well. I'm just trying to see if there's anything in here that's good. Total raised. I'm looking at that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, guys, busted, Shady.
Well, it's clear as day to anybody that's standing there that voted for Donald Trump what it is that is being done right now. I want you to realize that. Number one, there's no people that are, quote, pro-Trump that are not or that are irritated by what is happening with getting these people out of here. And I'd just like to say to you this: the people of Minnesota and these other sanctuary cities are concerned about are not, let me repeat this, they are not the average, ordinary, illegal immigrants that cause no chaos and go about their business and really don't want any attention and aren't causing any problems and aren't criminals. That is not the people that they are concerned about. They are concerned about the criminal element of gang related people that they can control and that they can get to harass and intimidate and make all of these different noise that they're willing to make out there as opposed to stand up and opposing ICE. There's no illegal immigrants out there like out protesting ICE that aren't criminals. You have to understand that. There are no illegal immigrants protesting ICE's presence that are not criminals because they don't want any attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
ICE is not going into schools. ICE is not going into hospitals. But you know what, Jeff? They're really making me want them to. They're really making me want them to. At this point, they're really kind of testing my patience to the degree that I'm almost to the point where, you know what? I don't care who you are. If you're here illegally, I want you gone.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing to the middle of America right now.
So here is chuffed.org. It's a crowdfunding site for organizers. Just wanted to kind of give you that. This is some of their successes, whatnot, but they're funding the insurrection in Minnesota, Shady.
And I'm going to suggest that they funded the insurrection in Minnesota last time whenever they burned down the police station, and they funded the insurrection in about 250 different cities in 2020. They funded the insurrection in January 6th, and now they're funding this one.
Yeah. And RPP, thank you so much. We got Caroline Levitt live right now.
In Minneapolis.
Let me just grab this real quick. Let me back it up just a second, guys. Here we go. We want to get the whole thing here. Thank you, Red Pill Pusher. I appreciate that. Let me get it here. Here we go. Here we go.
Afternoon, Jackie. Thank you for that.
Wow, guys.
Coming in on a snow day for the rest of the government in the country. And as much of the country feels the impacts of that winter storm, President Trump continues to monitor the situation closely, and he has remained in constant contact with FEMA and emergency responders. President Trump also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours for the states of Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, enabling these states to access critical federal resources to supplement their response efforts if needed. These declarations will help state-led efforts of turning power back on, clearing roads for emergency services, and keeping communities safe. The White House will continue to correspond directly with governors and local officials in the coming days, especially in those states that were harshly impacted by this storm. I would also like to address the chaotic scenes in Minnesota over the weekend. Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals. Saturday's shooting remains under active investigation by Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI. The Customs and Border Protection is also conducting their own internal review. As President Trump said yesterday, the administration is reviewing everything with respect to the shooting, and we will let that investigation play out. But let's be clear about the circumstances which led to that moment on Saturday. This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota. For weeks, Governor Walz and the Mayor Jacob Frey and other elected Democrats were spreading lies about federal law enforcement officers who are risking their lives daily to remove the worst criminal illegal aliens from our streets: murderers, rapists, pedophiles, human traffickers, and gang members. Governor Walz and Mayor Frey have shamefully blocked local and state police from cooperating with ICE, actively inhibiting efforts to arrest violent criminals. They have also used their platforms to encourage left-wing agitators to stalk, record, confront, and obstruct federal officers who are just trying to lawfully perform their duties, which has created dangerous situations threatening both these officers and the general public and Minnesotans alike. This is precisely what unfolded in Minneapolis on Saturday morning. Obstructing federal law enforcement and inciting violence against officers is wrong and illegal. This used to be a universally accepted position in the United States. Amid the hysteria, we must remember how we got here to this moment today and what this Democrat opposition is about. Former President Joe Biden and the Democrats opened America's borders for 4 years, inviting tens of millions of illegal aliens from all over the world to flood into our country. Among them, violent criminals who terrorized American communities and have inflicted devastating, permanent pain and harm on law-abiding Americans and their families. Yet we never saw outrage from Democrats or their allies in the liberal media over these horrifying crimes against U.S. citizens. The pain of American angel families was ignored and dismissed because it undermined the Democrat narrative. Innocent Americans like Jocelyn Nungray, Laken Riley, and Rachel Morin are just a few of the many victims savagely murdered by illegal alien criminals. Earlier this month, an illegal alien from Mexico with a long criminal history who came into our country under Joe Biden's administration threw a baseball-sized stone at a school bus carrying children in New Jersey and fractured the skull of an 8-year-old innocent child. President Trump promised accountability to these American families by securing the border, deporting every illegal alien who has committed crimes, especially and most importantly, violent crimes. Nearly 80 million Americans voted for him to deliver on that very promise, and he is. As the duly elected president, the president is fulfilling the will of the people by arresting and removing these threats from our country in cities from Los Angeles to New York and, yes, Minneapolis. Yet Democrat leaders in Minnesota with sanctuary city policies have actively defied federal immigration law and the will of the people. And as a result of that defiance, 2 Minnesotans have now tragically lost their lives on the streets of Tim Walz's state. It is President Trump's hope and wish and demand for the resistance and chaos to end today. That's why President Trump spoke with Governor Walz directly this morning, and he has outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota. Number 1, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning. Americans overwhelmingly want exactly what President Trump is delivering: strong borders and strict immigration enforcement against the worst illegal aliens, of which there are still hundreds of thousands to deport from the interior of our country. The most peaceful way to carry out this vital public safety mission is for Republicans and Democrats to do it together, and for state and local law enforcement to work together with federal law enforcement. We want to let cops be cops. You wouldn't know this continues to be a very popular policy position from the biased media coverage over the course of the last few days. But polling shows huge support for this exact thing President Trump is calling for. More than 80% of Americans favor deporting illegal aliens convicted of violent crimes.
Press 47 if you support that.
Criminals who enter it illegally is no country at all. The open borders agenda of Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and the Democrats was already on the ballot on November 5th, 2024, and it was resoundingly rejected. President Trump will never back down from his promise to deport violent criminal illegal aliens and make America safe again, and he welcomes all cooperation in that effort. With that, I will answer your questions. And Jordan Conradson, why don't you kick us off today?
Ooh, Gateway Pundit.
Jordan Conradson, Gateway Pundit. I have a few questions. First, with respect to the shooting in Minneapolis, we're seeing massive outrage from mainstream media and the left, but I'm just wondering, where was that outrage?
He's changed quite a bit, Shady. Look, he's all buff and ripped or bigger, and he looks totally different.
He's got a beard.
Wow.
Outrage when Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, was executed by Capitol Police Officer Michael Byrd, who she posed no threat to in the U.S. Capitol.
Well, you raise a very important point, which I also believe that I just raised as well in those opening remarks, in that there has no doubt been selective outrage by the liberal biased media in picking and choosing victims and highlighting their stories. And as I've said, President Trump does not want any Americans to lose their lives in the streets of America and in American communities across the country. He believes what happened on Saturday is a tragedy, but every life is equal to President Trump, and that's why the lives of Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungray continue to matter to him and be an utmost priority to him to this very day. And it's unfortunate that we did not see the same type of sensationalist media coverage over the tragic deaths of those innocent American women and girls across the country as we are in the wake of this tragedy that took place on Saturday. Gabe. Sure, go ahead.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't ask about Signalgate, to be quite honest.
I don't think he wants to know about that, Jeff.
I want to get your response to this. The Arizona Attorney General, just days before this shooting in Minneapolis, she seemingly encouraged rioters to go out and shoot and kill ICE agents. And I'll quote her here. She said, "If you reasonably believe your life's in danger and you're in the house or in your car or on your property, you can defend yourself with lethal force." And she said that you can't tell if ICE agents are law enforcement or imposters, and it becomes an issue of whether you reasonably believed they were law enforcement. Do you have a response to that, and does the White House believe that she should be held accountable for these remarks?
Such dangerous rhetoric, as I pointed out, is exactly what has brought us to this position today, where you have elected Democrat officials across the country who are encouraging left-wing agitators and crazy people to go out and unlawfully obstruct lawful immigration enforcement. Again, these brave men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and the federal enforcement are just trying to do their jobs to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to go after the worst of the worst in this country. I would encourage everyone in this room, and I would encourage the Arizona Attorney General to look at the video of an ICE agent in Minneapolis. He was approached by left-wing agitators who were honking their horns and were screaming slurs at him. And he rolled down his window and he said, "What are you doing? I am out here trying to catch a child predator, somebody who has convicted crimes against an innocent child, and you are trying to obstruct me from doing my job." This rhetoric against ICE, comparing them to Nazi Gestapo, Donald Trump's police force, is despicable, it is shameful, and it is precisely what has led to the escalation of tensions in Minneapolis and in other places across the country. Gabe, go ahead.
For justifying violence.
I would defer you to the Department of Justice on that.
Thank you, Caroline. Regarding Minnesota, on Saturday, the Department of Homeland Security posted that Preddy looks like he wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Stephen Miller on Saturday posted that, or called Preddy a would-be assassin. Why did administration officials jump to conclusions before an investigation had even been conducted?
Well, look, this has obviously been a very fluid and fast-moving situation throughout the weekend. As for President Trump, whom I speak for, he has said that he wants to let the investigation continue and let the facts lead in this case.
With regards to the deployment of Tom Homan to Minneapolis, should the deployment of Mr. Homan to Minneapolis be seen as a sign that the president is dissatisfied with how the officials on the ground had handled the incident?
No, Mr. Homan is doing an exceptional job, and he has been working with Secretary Noem and President Trump over the course of the last year. Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States, and she's continuing to oversee the entire Department of Homeland Security and all of the immigration enforcement that's taking place across the whole entire country. Of course, Secretary Noem is also in charge of FEMA, and we are in the wake of a brutal winter storm where hundreds of thousands of Americans have been impacted by that. So Borders-Czar Homan is in a unique position to drop everything and go to Minnesota to continue having these productive conversations with state and local officials, and I know that he's catching a plane in just a few hours to do just that at the request of the president. Jennifer.
Shooting, has the president been briefed, and have you been briefed on specific details of the shooting? How many shots were fired? How many guns discharged? And I mean, did the protesters' gun go off, or only the officers' guns? Do you have any of those details?
Again, the investigation is continuing, Jennifer, and we will let the facts lead, and we will let the facts play out. In this investigation, I do know that HSI and FBI are conducting interviews with those that were involved and the agents who were involved in this unfortunate tragedy on Saturday.
Are the president up to date on all those details?
The president is obviously very much on the ball with respect to this investigation. I think he's made that quite clear with the various statements that you've seen him put out, and also the 4 points that the president has outlined as well to Governor Walz, and to encourage him to cooperate with ICE and with the administration. Mary.
To follow on Gabe's question, Secretary Noem said Alex Preddy committed an act of domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller labeled Preddy a domestic terrorist. Does the president agree with them?
Look, as I've said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Was he alarmed to hear his top officials referring to him in that way, rushing to that judgment?
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. On Stephen Miller's comments, will Stephen Miller be apologising to the family of Alex Preddy for calling him, quotes, an assassin who tried to murder federal agents, despite the fact that, as you say, this is still under investigation?
Look, again, this incident remains under investigation, and nobody here at the White House, including the President of the United States, wants to see Americans hurt or killed and losing their lives in American streets. And we mourn for the parents. As a mother myself, of course, I cannot imagine the loss of life, especially losing one's child. And that same empathy from the president goes for the parents of angel families, and parents of victims of illegal alien crime across our country as well. And that's exactly why the president continues to be wholeheartedly committed to deporting the worst of the worst criminals from our country. Why don't we go to the back? Kelly.
Does the president believe that the killing, though, was a mistake? Has he expressed that at all?
Again, the president has said, we have to review it, and this investigation needs to continue, and he's letting the facts on the investigation lead itself.
Body camera footage to be released to the public? Now,
that's not something I've heard the president commit to, so I won't do that from the podium. Sure.
Carrie, how serious is the administration taking allegations that local and state officials in Minnesota are actively coordinating with demonstrators through encrypted or non-encrypted communications?
Here we go.
Providing government resources to enforcement operations?
I'm sorry.
She asked a question about Signalgate. Okay, guys. And by the way, Kash Patel on Benny Johnson today, breaking news, says he's opening an investigation on the Signal chats, guys. Boom. Here we go. Let's listen.
Carrie, could you repeat your question?
How serious is the administration taking allegations that local and state Minnesota officials are communicating with demonstrators to basically impede immigration officials?
Well, we've definitely seen active organization amongst these left-wing groups, Carrie, and it is something that I know the FBI and the Department of Justice are looking into. Again, it is illegal to unlawfully obstruct lawful immigration enforcement in this country. And these agitators are making it nearly impossible for ICE to do their jobs and for federal law enforcement to carry out the will of the American people to deport the worst of the worst. I would just encourage everyone to please imagine in this room, all of you come to the White House every day to report on the President of the United States and the administration. You come into this briefing room, you walk through the gates of the White House. Just imagine if there were left-wing agitators or agitators of any kind who were in your face, who were doxing you, who were harassing you, who were physically threatening you, who were biting off your fingers in the case of two Border Patrol agents we saw this past weekend in Minneapolis, that would make it very difficult for you to show up and do your job here at the White House every single day. That's what these officers in Minneapolis are facing. That's why the president is calling on Governor Walz and Mayor Frey for these three very simple and common sense points of cooperation so that ICE and local law enforcement can work together. Again, we are just asking for police to be police. And if you ask any law enforcement agent or official, they want to be able to work with their federal counterparts at the state and local level and vice versa.
Caroline. Thanks a lot, Caroline. Two questions. One is looking forward. The role of Mr. Homan. Is he being sent by the president to diffuse the situation that exists right now on the ground? Is he the point person essentially for the White House in terms of trying to tamp down the tensions that exist right now in Minnesota?
Well, Mr. Homan is the point person for cooperating with state and local authorities and corresponding with them, again, to achieve this level of cooperation to subdue the chaos on the streets of Minneapolis. And I would just point out that Mr. Homan is someone who has been lauded for many, many decades for his experience working in law enforcement. In fact, this is a Washington Post headline from 9 years ago, 2016. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. And I would remind everyone in this room that it was former President Barack Hussein Obama who awarded a medal to Mr. Homan. So he's obviously very qualified. He has the full trust and faith.
I love how she says Barack Hussein Obama. It just has a ring to it, doesn't it, Shady?
I agree with that.
Of the president. He will continue to have these meetings in the hopes that ICE and local law enforcement can cooperate and work together to have successful immigration enforcement, as we've seen in almost every other state across the country.
And secondly, Caroline, can you talk a little bit about tomorrow's trip by the president to Iowa, what the purpose of that trip is, what the goals of that trip are?
Sure, yes. Tomorrow, President Trump will be traveling to Des Moines, Iowa. He will be making a local visit at a local business, and then he will be giving a speech on affordability and on the economy. And I know he very much looks forward to being there, to meeting with the great people of Iowa, but also lawmakers as well. Jake.
Caroline, a couple quick questions. First, does the president remain fully confident in Kristi Noem's ability to lead the DHS?
Yes.
And then just secondly, just on that Wall Street Journal reporting that we saw yesterday, the president said at some point that the immigration enforcement officers would leave Minneapolis. Did the Saturday killing of Alex Pretty expedite that withdrawal at all?
To your first question, the answer is yes. He still has confidence and trust in Secretary Noem. To the second question, I would point you back to what I said earlier. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures, CBP will no longer be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement will peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions, to remove violent criminals from American neighborhoods across the country.
Did Walz ask the president to remove the immigration enforcement officers?
He asked the president to scale down, and the president reiterated what the president put out in his statement yesterday and what I'm sharing with all of you as well. I would just add on this level of cooperation a few statistics that I think are very important. 7 of the top 10 safest cities in the United States cooperate with ICE. And we've seen historic turnaround in safety in cities that have chosen to cooperate with ICE, that are not just led by Republicans, but also look right here in Washington, D.C. We had a great level of cooperation with Mayor Bowser and the local government, and we have been able to remove thousands of illegal aliens from the District of Columbia, where you all live, so you can thank President Trump for that. The murder rate in Washington, D.C. has plummeted as a result. There were no riots, there were no protests, nobody was tragically killed as a result of that level of cooperation between federal and local authorities. And again, that's all the president is asking for in Minnesota. It's totally common sense. Jared, go ahead.
Thank you. Caroline, in this process, you continue to describe the situation in Minneapolis as chaos. Was there any mistake made by Secretary Noem that led the president to send Mr. Homan there?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Did Secretary Noem make a mistake which led to...
If she made any mistake that could lead the president to send Mr. Homan to Minneapolis?
No, as I already mentioned, Mr. Homan has been working alongside Secretary Noem and for the president over the course of the last year. And again, he's uniquely positioned to hop on a flight to Minnesota today to continue this correspondence with state and local authorities, and that's what he's going to be doing.
Caroline.
Fran.
Caroline, is it the White House's position that Americans have the right to show up to these ICE operations and film, document, or protest the law enforcement actions?
All Americans have a First Amendment constitutional right, of course. But Americans do not have a constitutional right to impede and obstruct lawful immigration enforcement operations. That is actually a crime, and it's something that we've seen taking place in the streets of Minneapolis, which again is leading to these dangerous circumstances that these federal law enforcement officers have been forced to work within.
Back to the call with Governor Walz this morning, the president described it as respectful. He said we seem to be on a similar wavelength, but you had strong criticism for the governor and the Minneapolis mayor Jacob Frey just now. So could you explain the difference in tone between what the president had said in his True Social post and I think some of the criticisms that you just levied from the podium?
Fran, I think the criticisms that I laid out, I'm painting the picture for all of you in this room, are what led to the moment that we are in today, where Governor Walz and President Trump are having a conversation, a constructive and productive conversation to end the chaos and the lawlessness that has taken place in Governor Walz's state.
Elena.
Thank
you. I had a question. With Homan now going to Minnesota, is Gregory Bovino also going to remain in Minnesota overseeing these ICE operations?
Mr. Bovino is a wonderful man, and he's a great professional. He is going to very much continue to lead Customs and Border Patrol throughout and across the country. Mr. Homan will be the main point of contact on the ground in Minneapolis.
And to follow up, given what we've heard from several Trump administration officials, people like Stephen Miller, as people point out, calling him a domestic terrorist, Bovino saying that Freddie was out to massacre law enforcement, why not require ICE agents to wear body cameras to clear up some of the disputes that we are hearing from witnesses and video footage versus what the...
Why not you guys stop encouraging protests and let them do their damn jobs? Wow. This is really hard to listen to, isn't it, Shady?
It really is.
Oh.
Has been saying.
Well, that's a policy question that I know the policy folks in the building are having with members on Capitol Hill, and I'll leave it to them and the president to make that decision.
And my final question is on, you were talking about the level of cooperation that the president talked about with Governor Walz. Will the administration commit to cooperating with local officials on this investigation into Alex Freddie?
The president spoke about this with Governor Walz and said he would have a discussion about it. He did not make a commitment, and so therefore I won't make that commitment here. I would just remind all of you in the media, because I've seen a lack of reporting on this fact, there are investigations into what took place on Saturday. The Homeland Security investigations and the FBI have teamed up for an investigation, and there's also an internal CBP investigation, an internal review of what is happening on the ground in Minnesota. The president supports those investigations, and as I've said repeatedly, he wants to see them move forward. Phil.
Thank you, Caroline. FBI Director Kash Patel said in a Sunday interview, quote, "You cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest." Does the president believe the Second Amendment rights remain in effect even when protesting?
The president supports the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding American citizens, absolutely. There has been no greater supporter or defender of the right to bear arms than President Donald J. Trump. So while Americans have a constitutional right to bear arms, Americans do not have a constitutional right to impede lawful immigration enforcement operations and any...
Now, if the press just said that, we'd be all done with this narrative, wouldn't we?
But they
My
won't.
God.
They can't say that. That's the thing that they can't say. And you'll find this over and over again. That's the reason that they have this thing called spin, because there are things that they can't say. And for the things that they can't say, they've got to come up with a reason that they can't say them. And everybody has to agree with that reason for it to stick.
Right on.
Owner knows that when you are carrying a weapon, when you are bearing arms, and you are confronted by law enforcement, you are raising the assumption of risk and the risk of force being used against you. And again, that's unfortunately what took place on Saturday.
Will his mission continue to be focusing on illegal immigrants with a criminal history, or will it be on illegal immigration generally?
Mr. Homan will continue to enforce our nation's immigration laws, especially especially deporting the worst of the worst criminals in Minnesota who have committed violent offenses. And I would just remind all of you that this important work is continuing to be carried out. In just the last few days, I'm happy to provide this packet to anyone in the room. ICE has arrested multiple violent criminals, illegal aliens within Minnesota. Many of them have convictions for assault, driving under the influence, fraud. This individual here I'm looking at was an aggravated felon with multiple convictions for larceny, fraud, and forgery of checks, vehicle theft, drug possession, domestic assault, inflicting bodily harm on another, criminal convictions of larceny, identity theft, again, charged with driving under the influence. These are extremely dangerous people who Governor Walz and Mayor Frey have allowed to roam on their streets, and all the president is asking for is cooperation to arrest individuals like this and deport them from the United States of America.
And if the mainstream news just said that, we wouldn't be in this situation, would we, Shady?
No, we're not. And I have some breaking news here. President Trump has posted, Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota. So am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have touched. And even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump.
See, that's good. That's kind of playing politics a little bit too, right?
Oh, yeah. We got to get him to shut up so that we can get him arrested for fraud.
And all we want are the criminal, illegal aliens.
And all the fraudulent Somalis.
Well, that's coming.
I'll take a couple more. Go ahead.
Okay. So this weekend, the president posted that this is a cover-up of the fraud in the state of Minnesota. He also posted Minnesota is a cover-up. These both happened after the shooting. So given that these came after the shooting, what is this here? What is the cover-up he's alleging?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Isn't she supposed to be Wait. Isn't she supposed to be a reporter? She doesn't know about the Somali fraud?
No, she doesn't. We have to tell her.
Oh.
Yeah.
We are the news now, guys.
Yeah. See, so Jeff, you're not understanding the dynamic here. You see, the news media were in the Signal chat. Yeah. So therefore, the news media being in the Signal chat means that they are actually operating in a theater of optics.
You're watching a movie.
Right. So when you're operating in a theater of optics, you got to be very, very careful what to not understand.
This is the real watching a movie decode, guys. Right. They get Signal chats. They organize protests. They get the mainstream media to go ahead and do it. They get foreign and domestic billionaires to pay for it. You're watching a movie because 80% of Americans agree with getting rid of criminals, period.
Correct. And then they wage an info war on you by omitting certain information.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, we're going to blame you.
At length. What the president is referring to is the fact that you have Governor Walz and, again, the mayor, who have been encouraging these left-wing agitators to come out and to harass and to dox and to threaten ICE and to make this conversation about...
Yeah, we got a comment, Miss Miadri in YouTube, Shady. Do you want reparations for all the illegal funds that they've shipped out of the U.S.? I want reparations for my taxpayers' money.
I can get on board with that.
I can get on board with those kind of reparations.
Yep.
Amen.
and smear lies about federal law enforcement who, again, are just trying to do their jobs in an attempt to distract from the widespread massive fraud that has taken place in their state. Billions and billions of dollars has been stolen from law-abiding taxpayers in Minnesota, and the administration continues to be very focused on getting to the bottom of it, especially, and the president raised a good question over the weekend with respect to Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who now has a net worth within the millions, and one must ask themselves, why and how is that possible? Is she connected to the fraud rings that we have seen taking place within her state and her own district? It's a question the American people are raising, and the president believes it's one worth answering.
Republican or Democrat, I can agree with exactly that right there. And I think anybody with any common sense would too.
And you can clearly see that the media are doing what they're doing here, and we're articulating this. It's being devoid of curiosity. They're devoid. So the media, it's the media's responsibility to investigate fraud. Okay. Nobody else is really tasked with investigating fraud other than the media. It's the administration's responsibility to arrest people or to notice or to go after folks that have been exposed in the media for committing fraud. But if the media doesn't want to see any fraud, if the media intentionally doesn't look at the fraud because it would undermine their ability to get paid if they notice the fraud, then guess who's not going to notice the fraud, guys? This is why Donald Trump, under the Q-initiated disclosure project, said very, very clearly to you many, many times, a single line statement: the mainstream media are the enemy of the people. He didn't say the communist infiltrators, because the mainstream media are the communist infiltrators, and they're the ones with the megaphone. So the megaphone is where the message comes into you ad nauseum. That's also where they omit from, guys. We have to have a conversation in this country about what's really going on. And what's really going on is we can clearly prove now today with evidence in this signal chat that the media are generating the news, not reporting on it.
So, Ilhan Omar, who is in Minnesota, her district has millions of dollars of fraud in her state and district.
Yep.
And she's worth $30 to $44 million?
Yeah.
Stop it! There's nothing to see here. Stop!
She's a model in Somalia. That's how she made all her wealth.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow. Yeah.
Model citizen.
1 + 1 = 2, everybody. I hate to tell you.
Gotta say it.
And the simplest answer is that.
Yep. Hard facts. Cold hard facts.
Hey, with Governor Caroline, I want to go back to some of the comments from Stephen Miller and Secretary Noe. You've made clear the president wants to see the investigation play out. When answering some of the questions on the specific details, is he concerned that some of those definitive statements made by other officials risks public's perception of the credibility of those investigations now playing out?
Again, the president believes that these investigations are credible, they are continuing, they are active, and he wants to let them play out. Alex.
Caroline, thank you. Is the administration willing to separate DHS funding from other funding bills in order to avoid a broader shutdown?
Look, at this point, the White House supports the bipartisan work that was done to advance the bipartisan appropriations package, and we want to see that passed. Policy discussions on immigration in Minnesota are happening. Look, the president is leading those discussions, as evidenced by his correspondence with Governor Walz this morning, but that should not be at the expense of government funding for the American people, which would include, as you know, Alex, FEMA funding, and we are in the midst of the storm that took place over the weekend, and many Americans are still being impacted by that. So we absolutely do not want to see that funding lapse, and we want the Senate to move forward with passing the bipartisan appropriations package that was negotiated on a bipartisan basis.
Secondly, there's another round of Russia-Ukraine talks this weekend, Sunday. I wonder if you can walk us through with the president, how he will be involved in that, if at all. We'll be talking to President Putin, President Zelensky ahead of those meetings.
I'm not tracking any scheduled calls at this point in time. However, the president remains deeply involved, and of course he's being apprised by his advisors, namely Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Witkoff, on these talks. They had a multilateral meeting this past weekend, which didn't get a ton of coverage, but that was historic in nature, where the president's team has really brought two sides of this war to the table together to move the ball closer towards peace. So the president is not giving up on the peace process. He obviously just met with President Zelensky when we were in Davos, Switzerland, but I'm not tracking any calls scheduled for this week. On one more foreign policy point, I will point out, as you all saw, the last remaining body of the hostages, Israeli hostages in Gaza, has been returned. This is a huge foreign policy feat for the President of the United States, for the State of Israel, and frankly for the whole world. The President made the impossible possible, and so it's great news for the President, for the United States, for our allies, and also for peace in the Middle East. And I understand that more than 20 new additional countries have also signed up to join the newly established Board of Peace with respect to the rebuilding of Gaza, which is another historic accomplishment for this president. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you in Iowa tomorrow.
Wow.
Also, Trump made a statement over the weekend about Carney and how Carney from Canada is not going to be able to participate in the Board of Peace. I thought that was a hilarious statement that he made to him.
Yeah, Trump was on fire. So you saw
Really
the points that she made. Trump also posted that on his True Social, the 3 things that he wants from Tim Walz, which is the illegal criminal aliens, guys. I mean, it's not, rocket science, Shady Groove, but I want to real quick highlight something that I posted this weekend let me just make sure my stuff is working here. Yeah. Highlight something that I posted. Enough is enough, guys. I think that the American people want equal justice under the law. Instead of these forced narratives and fake stories and cover-ups, right, Shady? I mean, yes. Equal justice under the law should be had in the United States of America.
Agreed.
So I want to go over just this quick little post, guys, because enough is enough. Equal justice under the law. Cocaine was found in Biden's White House. Secret Service confirmed no arrests. Quick close. A dead body, a chef at Barack Hussein Obama's Martha's Vineyard estate, ruled accidental drowning. Male prostitute rumor pushed hard after Pelosi's home invasion. Debunked. No evidence. Pure hoax. Illegal private server at Hillary Clinton house. FBI called it extremely careless. No charges. One side gets endless investigation. The other one gets passes. The primary sources that back the real ones: White House cocaine, official Secret Service statement, July 2023, cocaine confirmed, investigation closed without suspect. Clinton server, Comey's FBI statement, July 2016, careless handling of classified info, but no prosecution recommended. The rest are accidents or fabrications twisted into narratives, yet Trump's home gets raided over documents while these slide. This is why we fight, guys. The globalist elites and DC insiders protect their own. Border open, fentanyl pouring in, but heaven for pedophiles, illegal pedophiles. I mean, guys, but heaven forbid we question the cocaine in the people's house. Trump exposed it, fought it, and is fixing it. No more excuses. If this was flipped, heads would roll 24/7 on CNN. But crickets from the fake news. Wake up, America. It's time for real accountability. MAGA means equal justice under the law. No two-tier justice system, and we need to drain this swamp, Shady.
I absolutely am on board with every bit of that. You're 100% correct, and I think the American people are getting ready to get what it is that they paid for.
Yeah, and we're going to get it. Arrests will come. Things are happening. Kash Patel opening a Signalgate investigation. We'll have more tomorrow. Monday flew by, Shady Grove. Thank you, Yeti. Wow. We had some technical difficiles. That's Spanish for difficult. Difficulties, guys. We had some difficulties, but we made through it. We had the dating game, and you could hear us in the background. That was kind of funny, wasn't it, Shady?
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to go back and see what the hell it was we were saying.
I'm sure it was all good.
I'm sure it was fine. Our producer says they can't hear you. Oh, my God.
yeah, I don't.
That could get bad quick. Look, guys. See? Oh, did he really freeze? Oh, wow. So, do you have a song to take us out, Yeti? All right. So, thank you guys so much. I think Jeff actually froze. We love you very much here on the MG show. It is because of you that we
all right,
are
guys,
here.
So I wrote stuff, guys. And
you were frozen. We couldn't hear you. I was closing the show. He's frozen again. Let's go before he gets back. Much love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. A few of them, and you can name Living in the Main. Are you living in the Matrix? Listen to a shady grove. Are you falling down a rabbit hole? All you want is truth. No one can tell you what you believe. The truth is there for you to find. Come and join our digital army, the warriors of the modern time. We are the future of the human race. When it lives just lighting your face. When politicians are bought and sold, the truth is learned, it is never told. Are you living in the Matrix? Fighting for reality. We're only wrong until we're right. Freedom is ever free. We take the oath of allegiance the future of the human race. When all the names just lie to your face. When politicians are bought and sold. The truth is known, it is never told. The truth is known, it is never told. The truth is known, it is never told. Are you living? Are you dying? Are you laughing? Are you crying? Are you fighting? Are you winning? Are you doing? Are you fighting? Are you laughing? Are you crying? Here's the truth, what they are hiding, the future of the human race. Let's get the dirt right back in the face. The soul of freedom can never be sold. The truth is loud, it is never told. 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 The truth is loud, it is never
www.mg.show. Boom.